Welcome back, everyone. And today we're going to take another ride down the rabbit hole, and we're going to take a look here at the wallets and get an idea of the overall supply and just exactly what the whales are doing, and also get an idea of why we keep selling off at around 18 cent. And it was pretty much what I suspected. It's not exactly retail, but we're going to get into that in this video. I want to let you know that what you're looking at right now, as far as for the wallets and the balances that's in there, this accounts for about, especially even with the whales and stuff that's in here, you're looking at all of, as far as the total supply of Doge, you're looking at about 80%, a little over 80% of all the Dogecoin that exists is already in someone's wallet. It's particularly down here toward the whale accounts here. So if you're talking about free float, what exactly is available to buy, you're talking about 20%, a little less than 20%. That's actually available to buy. So you're talking about a coin that's 80% held. And you have moments where there's swaps or there's a sell-off, but then they are purchased and they go back into another wallet. And we're going to take a look at that here. I want to take a look primarily, and I want to give you an idea of what's been happening, because during the entire bear market, when the sentiment was, Doge is dead, it's a scam token and it's not going to recover, these wallets were accumulating, and some of them even increased their positions, going up 20 spots as far as for like their rankings. Like the largest wallet here, we can go back. Let's take a look. I mean, even here back in June of 2023, it was the number 5. It had the 5th largest amount of balance in Doge. It's number 1 now. Look at the price of Doge. The price of Doge is down here, where you see this arrow at, this gray arrow. The red is obviously balanced in USD, and the blue is balanced in Doge. The price of Doge was flat this entire time. But if you look at the red line, what are they doing? Increasing their supply. The wallet is growing while Doge is flat. And even now, as Doge's price is spiking up, you'll see that the balance in US dollars and stuff is growing. But you'll see that they accumulated back in 2023, right? And it's pretty much been a flat line for the accumulation, but obviously the balance is growing. And they sold some recently, right? I want to make sure I interpret this correctly. So yeah, they sold some recently, and you'll see down here, if we scroll down, you'll see they dumped quite a bit on the 5th, right? They did 3 rounds of sales on the 5th. About 120,000, but they're still keeping their primary accounts. And I want to show you where they're dumping at. This wallet here in particular is targeting 18.4. So around 1840 is where they are dumping, right? They're taking about 5 to 6 million in the actual balance as far as sales. Profit wise, they're making about 3.7 per transaction that they're doing at 18.4. I imagine there's some delay on this. We'll probably see some from today in the next couple of days, but I imagine that is the case here. So we'll see that this wallet, even if we go back to early 2023, you'll see these huge transactions as they were building in. And then we start seeing obviously the smaller ones. I know some of these have been identified. You can say, I know for a long time, the largest wallet has been, people would believe that this was Robinhood. And some of these have been identified as like Binance. Like this second one here is identified as Binance. And they are, who's this? All right, currently number 2. And prior to the run, this address, it did exist, but it was number 435 richest Dogecoin address, and now it's number 2. So even during the bull market here, you'll see the balance in Doge, it spiked up here, and even now it spiked recently. What is this? Yeah, January, February, it increased again, still maintaining its number 2 spot. But even with the overall price of Doge going up, you'll see that this balance as far as the Dogecoin is increasing. And stay with me. I'm going to make a point here in a moment. I just want to show you guys what some of the top 3 wallets are doing, and then we're going to get an idea about price action. Matter of fact, let me go back here. I want to show you something. So, because a lot of times people believe that this is just a lot of the retail are selling, or it's just purely like shorts. And you'll look at the price point at which these actually go out. You can actually get ideas of when this actually happens, when this accumulation starts, when the sell orders come in, what actually gets lent to shorters. You'll always find sells typically around the pivot point of the coin. So whether that be like the 12, 13 cent range we were talking about, this was at the 16 range, 16 to 18 range, and they've had the 76.2 come in. But this is why I imagine that first wallet, we're looking at maybe they accumulated the coins that came off of it, but you're looking at something that kind of balances out to roughly what you saw in the first wallet, the sell off in the first 3 wallet transactions that we looked at. I want to take a look right here at this one. Then, of course, you see, if you look over here at Balance USD, you'll see more selling off at around the 18 mark. This was back on the 13th and the 14th. So this is technically yesterday and today. So these are all today's here. So it did a dump here on the 13th, and this sell here was this morning, and we're looking at some buys here right now as the price is down, or at least some adds to the wallet, right? So the point I want to make here is if you're looking at the overall supply and we're saying, okay, 80% of the Doge is held inside of these wallets. What does this mean? If we're looking at this, when we say, what's the transactional value? What is the likelihood, with Elon saying, hey, we're going to accept payments for Tesla on X. It's not difficult for those higher numbers to be achieved if we're talking about 20% of the coins being available. Now, if these wallets were, let's just say the largest wallet, like the $32 billion one, 32 billion wallet were to dump, obviously that would affect the price, but then they would never have that position again. So then, and the reason, and they're holding on to these positions for a reason, whether that be if that is Robinhood and they just want to collect transaction fees, or if they are waiting for a higher number, or if they just want to lend to shorts, because it looks like that's what it's doing. So even if that is the case, the cash or the revenue that they can generate from holding that position will disappear with it. And this is strategic entries here. You don't accumulate when the market tanks in 2021, 2023, you don't accumulate and then hold throughout the bear market and say, oh, okay, well, I was just trying to do like a quick flip here, especially with that kind of money, because even if they wanted to do a quick flip, they would have, I'm not gonna say they would have, but it would have been, the sentiment would have been to like invest in something as far as like Bitcoin or something that is limited in supply. It would have been a lot less maintenance for them, instead of saying, okay, well, we're going to generate revenue, or we're going to lend, and we're going to maintain our position here as the block rate continues, because they're still accumulating, as we saw in the charts. But instead of doing that, they're playing this cat and mouse game where they're doing swaps between each other in the wallets, affecting the price. But then when the price goes down, they jump back in for their position. And all the while, we only have around 20% of the float remaining. So even if we say there is something that comes along, a X catalyst or whatever catalyst, right? And it puts a strain on that 20%. And now if they are to do the swaps that they're doing, it's going to force them to be competitive on the market. And the coins and stuff, they'll be less likely to put them on the market or do like their swaps in between, like the wallets here, whether that be to have the sells at around 18 cent at around 12 cent, the 14 cent, the 16 cent, and just start getting positions for those sells, they will be less likely to put those on the market. So they'll make a more concrete decision as far as for are we in or are we out. And another thing I wanted to point out is that if we're looking at the total coins, we're talking about maybe 30 billion. And this is the numbers that I gave in the video from a few days ago, saying that from the current wallet holders, if the current wallet holders had an average balance of around $1,800, there would be no Dogecoin. We would be waiting on the block rates to make new Dogecoin every day because the supply would be just that low. And that's the point I wanted to make with this video. As far as we're saying it, people are saying, oh, well, there's too many coins to do to have it as a currency, or it's going to be so inflationary that it's going to be something similar to the dollar. That is completely incorrect. There are, even with just 4 million holders, like technically speaking, it is total. We have the purchasing power. I'm not saying that the community will do that, but technically speaking, the purchasing power is there to make Dogecoin scarce. So it's not even like it's out of the realm of possibility. And I know some people who have balances who are way lower than 1,800, and some people have way more. But that number being that low as far as where it is, then it's not out of the realm of possibility. And it just kind of is an indicator saying that, okay, well, that there isn't really as many coins as it seems. It seems like a big number, but as far as for a currency, then it's not. If you're trying to treat it like Bitcoin, then yeah, it's a huge number. But if you're looking at it through the correct lens, it's not that big of a number. So with that being said, I hope this video provided some clarity on the scarcity of Dogecoin, what the wallets have been doing as far as for their accumulation tactics, and how everything is quite not what it seems when it comes down to transactions, or even when these large amounts of coins are moving. When we see the transactional volume, that's not completely retail. And I think most people know that. If you see a day where we have $7 billion in transactional value, that's not retail. I can assure you retail does not have $7 billion. The 4 million people that are, or at least retailers, that the majority of the people that are retailers in the market are not transacting for $7 billion in 10 hours, right? So just gonna keep that in mind when you're looking at the volume here, and know that, you know, these wallets, they are swapping, they are positioning themselves, and they are ultimately doing this to keep their positions in the coin, and which is fine, because that, you know, obviously that helps keep the supply, you know, at that 20% or even lower. Because, you know, if we grow from 4 million holders to 8 million holders, then it's a completely different ball game. And like I said, with mass utility, things can get interesting really quickly price wise. So that makes sense. If you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to hit 100K this year. We'd love for you to be in that number. And if you found value, absolutely leave a like and a comment. I'm going to try and get to as many of them as possible. I have a few things I want to look at pertaining to Dogecoin, so expect more videos similar to this. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.